What's up, guys, and welcome to DC versus Marvel podcast, where we talk about the latest DC and Marvel movie news. My name is Uz, aka Uziman Diaz, and I am representing the blue corner of DC. And once again, joining me in the it's such bad sports, these Marvel guys, right? In the red corner, representing Marvel Comics, is my boy Eddie Brock,
What's up,
aka.
guys? I know this is the true reason why you're here, to hear what's going on with the MCU.
That's the thing, and unfortunately,
There's nothing.
there's no news ever. So yeah, but yeah, man, it's been a funny old week again. We say this every week.
Where's your DC t-shirt? What are you wearing today?
Ready Player One.
Oh, come on.
Ready Player One. Yeah. Do you know why? You know these the Punisher. Yeah, Punisher. I still, I got to say, even though as a DC guy, I still got to rate Punisher.
Everyone loves
Punisher is awesome,
especially nowadays. His particular skill set would be perfect, right?
Would be perfect. Yeah, that is the thing, man. Now I get these. I used to get like Loot Crate, and now I get like Loot Wear, which is kind of like they send you like these T-shirts like once a month and stuff like that. Almost all of their stuff is Marvel. I mean, you get the odd kind of like other thing. Like last month, I got sent Animaniacs, right? And I just gave it to my daughter because I'm like, I ain't wearing that Animaniacs t-shirt. It's like bright blue with like bloody Animaniacs on it.
So they just send you random t-shirts.
Yeah, so they'll have like a theme. So they'll have like space or whatever, and they'll send you a kind of t-shirt. So you might get Power Rangers, or they don't have any link with DC. So you get a lot of Marvel t-shirts, man. So I've got like. I shouldn't really be saying this, should I? But I've got Agents of Shield t-shirts and Iron Man t-shirts.
Nice. So you truly, you're not a DC guy. You're just doing this for the image. Like you're truly a Marvel guy deep down.
No, I don't mind Marvel. I said I don't mind Marvel. It's the MCU that I have problems with. You know what I mean? It's the Marvel comics is perfectly fine. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just like these t-shirts, man. So I'm just wearing them in rotation. You know what I mean? And because it is, we say it's hot here, but when I say to my my best mate who moved to Australia, that is hot here, he just pisses himself laughing. Basically,
Yeah.
he's like, I'm like, yeah, man, it's like 28 degrees. He's like, what? 28 degrees? He goes, this is like coat weather, you know what I mean? Just continuously rotate t-shirts around, man. But given what is going on at the moment, I guess you can't blame people for getting on anxiety and getting on the sweats or whatever. You know what I mean about what crazy stuff is going on right now.
What a year 2020 has been. It's like even what's going on now with the protests / riots, various groups. I don't even know where I'm going with this, but it's just a crazy year. I just can't believe like what's going to be next. Like I'm scared for what's around the corner.
Alien invasion, man. It's got to be. It's got to be alien invasion.
That's what it has to build to. A legit zombie mutation of the corona or alien invasion. One of the two.
Yeah, or just like Trump has to mutate and kind of reveal himself as the V. The V.
Yeah, exactly. The lizard people.
the lizard guy from V. And
David Icke was right after all these years.
Yeah, Ike would be all over the place. He'd be like, I was right. And then it'd be like, that's why he's like that. That's why Trump's like that, man. Because he's not human. So yeah, that is legitimately the kind of last thing that could happen, man. But I was listening to a podcast today and from a guy called Robert Kiyosaki, who's basically he's like a business guy, right? And he's like, yeah, he goes, the coronavirus, you guys are worried about coronavirus, yeah, affecting the economy, etc. He goes, yeah, the pension crisis is coming next. and that is basically going to destroy the world's economy. So it's like, okay, fine, then we're in a better state right now than we're going to be, so we might as well kind of accept the way that it is, man. So yeah.
Right.
That's why as soon as B&Q reopened, there's all the queues out there, because everybody's, you got to get your weapons ready for the zombie apocalypse, just in case, just in case it happens.
Yes.
You know what I mean? That's the thing, man. You kind of, if it was zombies, then maybe a little bit more exciting than what's going on at the moment. But
yeah, but then we've got a whole slate of Marvel movies waiting to come out, and I want them to come out, and they can't come out if there's zombies running around. Come on.
That is true. That is absolutely true. Yeah. But it's just like, I guess when you're looking at the riots and stuff that is going on, people are kind of acting like a zombie horde. You know what I mean?
Like I mentioned to you before we started recording, it is, you turn on the news and it looks like what's going on in America right now in the various cities. It is like watching Dark Knight Rises, like when everything just went to crap in Gotham. It is just like,
yeah, and it's like, there's like there's videos of a guy dressed up as Batman walking through the smoke.
How has no one jumped him yet? I'm just waiting for someone to hit him with a brick.
Just like, what the hell is going on here? This is so bizarre, man. But then it's funny because he's meant to be standing with the police, right? He's meant to be standing with the Gotham police against Bane's. So that kind of doesn't make any sense. Nope. But also, like, there was that photo that I put up in the group of the White House, and it literally looks like the Purge.
Yeah, that photo was crazy.
It's just absolutely crazy. There's people going, right? Okay, and it's like, they're going and setting fire to the guardhouse outside the White House, right? And it's like, if you want to get shot, that's the best possible way to do it. You know what I mean? If you want, I don't understand why people want this like escalation and stuff like that. You know what I mean? I mean, we had our own kind of thing about, I think it's about 9-10 years ago or so.
Is that long ago?
And it was about 9 years ago, because I started working in another practice, and I remember watching, like, I used to have a townhouse nearby Croydon Town Centre, right? And there's this like massive furniture store that they kind of like set on fire and stuff,
burn
right?
it down.
And I was just like, what the hell, man? I used to walk past that like literally, on a daily basis, right? And it was kind of just like, why would you do that? What does that have to do with this other thing that is going on there that people are protesting about?
We never had Best Buys in this country until maybe a year or two before the riots happened. There was one opposite from where I used to work, because I was working retail. And then the riots happened. And I remember just walking out of my workplace, because I was working that as it was happening, and just seeing the till from Best Buy in the middle of the road, in the middle of the street.
Oh, God.
Someone ripped out one of the tills, and Best Buy was just ransacked, and they never reopened. And Best Buy just disappeared from the UK. It never came back. It was like, fuck it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, they probably lost so much, so much money off it, man. Yeah, it's just absolutely crazy. I mean, in America is worse, because you're always thinking, okay, if there's a riot, then somebody's gonna have a gun. You know what I mean? And that's the thing you gotta kind of worry about. I remember when I was the reason why I remember the riot so much, like I was saying, I started this new job in this really tiny little town in Northamptonshire, right? And they've got like a little high street, right? Like a co-op, and like another couple of things, right? And and I was working there. My boss goes to me, we're finishing early. Cancel all your work. We're finishing early, right? And I was like, why? He goes, yeah, we've heard rumors the rioters are coming. I'm like the rioters. They're like, yeah, the rioters. I'm like, if there's a riot here, then it's some like dude's kid from like the countryside.
Exactly. He's farmers. What are they gonna do?
Exactly. Some farmer's kid has come down and has been looting, and they're gonna be like, John, why are you breaking into the co-op, mate? You know what I mean?
And everyone
gonna...
knows each other. Everyone knows each other in those places.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
mad.
And they closed it up and they're worried. They're like, the rioters are coming. I was like, who are the rioters, man? I literally just like, but yeah, it was absolutely crazy, man.
What what I want to know, I'm sure you've seen these various documentaries and videos of these people that live legit superhero lives, that are out there, that portray themselves as superheroes with a costume and everything, that patrol their cities. What are those people doing right now? That's what I want to know. Are they out there like Daredevil trying to do their thing, or are they just enjoying the madness?
Nah, man, probably at home somewhere, like, you know, just like, I don't know, man. It's just the thing is, some people, they get excited by these things, you know what I mean? They look at it and they're just like, let me get out there and kind of do it, you know what I mean? And be part of it. But man, no freaking way. And obviously there's people been cooped up for a while. So there's all that frustration. Yeah, so it's all that and it's summer and like people want to be out and yeah, just the whole perfect storm to make it horrendous, man. So
I just want to know 2-3 weeks from now, what's because Corona is still there. Everyone's kind of forgotten about it, but it's still there. 2-3 weeks from now, what's gonna happen? Is it suddenly just gonna everyone just suddenly gets struck down with it?
They're gonna get a big ass peak going, man, because they haven't even gone over the peak yet. We've at least gone over the peak. We're on the other side now. We're almost at the bottom of the peak now. But these guys are still not quite at the peak. So now they will be. And it will be like,
guys, if you're living in the city that's going through this, man, good luck. Stay safe.
Man. But anyway, guys, this is a comic book podcast, as we say every single time, because we get distracted. But there's so much other stuff that is going on there. We owe it to you guys to talk about that and the actual fact that superheroes may turn up one day. You know what I mean? It's just like do you know when you need to get worried is when the super villains start turning out, man. When you start getting bloody, people capitalizing on this shit, like Black Mask.
Politicians, they just don't have the costumes, but they're there. Their suits are there with costumes.
That is true, man. That is true. It's like, when Black Mask and bloody, these guys start coming out, or, Trump takes his thing off and he's Red Skull underneath, then that's the time we're gonna know what is going on, man. So guys, like we were saying, this is a DC and Marvel comic book podcast, and also as well, we've had some messages like saying, because we did say this actually, you guys said that you were going to cover Star Wars, and to this point you have not covered any Star Wars stuff, right? Okay, so yes, you are right. We did say we're going to cover Star Wars, and I keep forgetting to kind of put Star Wars stuff in. A lot of the Star Wars stuff is quite clickbaity, but we will, from next week, we will be starting to put some Star Wars stuff in, and I will be putting that in for you guys, and we'll be having a chat about it, because I guess we can come at it from a neutral perspective. Me and Ed can meet in the middle, right?
Yeah. Right. Fist bump to the TV.
We can meet in the middle on that and fight on the other sides there, basically. That's why I'm so far over here, because it's too Marvel over that side. Right. This let's start off with some Marvel news, man. Chris Evans, all these guys are doing interviews now, right? Because obviously they're not doing anything, sitting at home, doing whatever. Chris Evans has done an interview there as well. And sometimes I listen to these interviews and I kind of think to myself, are you putting it on? Or are you being real? Has this actually happened? Whatever. Chris Evans was talking about his role as Captain America, how he had a huge amount of anxiety, and because of that, he didn't actually want to do the role. He didn't think that he'd be able to do the role there, but he was persuaded by Robert Downey Jr. to come and play the role of Captain America.
Yeah, he turned it down a couple of times, didn't he?
Yeah, apparently he turned it down a couple of times, and he says the reason why was because of anxiety. He had an anxiety that he thought that he wouldn't be able to do the part properly, and he had a huge amount of anxiety with his acting career. But Robert Downey Jr. kind of persuaded him. So part of that, I kind of, yeah, exactly, man. That is him as Captain America. He is like
Mm.
the definitive like guy. You know
My
what I mean?
guy. Yeah.
Exactly, the
Could
actual
not have
epitome
been
of it.
anyone else. If because he nearly went to the Quiet Place dude, didn't it? The one who's
Ryan
that's been
Gosling.
no. The
Oh,
guy's been
didn't oh no.
touted for the Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic. What's his
Oh,
name?
I don't know.
Mr.
I know.
Emily
I know.
Blunt. Mr. Emily Blunt. Let's call him
Mr.
that.
Emily
It
Blunt.
nearly went to him, and
Um,
then, I could not with his not with this the guy, but yeah, he just ain't got the look. He would not have worked.
no,
Nah.
no. This is. Do you know the one thing that I really loved about those original kind of films? So for me, so Ed doesn't really know this because I haven't really said it, but basically for me, my kind of thing was first phase of MCU. I loved almost everything in it, almost everything in the first phase, up until the Avengers, and I loved the Avengers, and then after that, it started tailing off for me, and it started tailing off and tailing off and tailing off, and then I really loved Infinity War, and then Endgame, yeah, and then
Even better. Even better.
so so that's the thing. So the thing that I really really loved about this original Captain America was the fact that there was stuff in there that you were seeing that you'd never seen before, right? It was like when he turned up and he was like this skinny little weak,
Yeah, that was cool.
Captain America, and it's like, wow, look at this CGI. This is like
Mm.
amazing. This is like top. Is that actually him? Did they get somebody else to play him? Did they stick the head on? Whatever. Thinking about when we were kids, and the kind of stuff that of course. You're getting things like, Back to the Future and all this kind of stuff there, but the CGI is on a different level. It's on a
Yeah.
very different level, right? And I look back at some of these films like Flight of the Navigator and things like that, and it's kind of just looks like just a thing just going on in front of it was a blue screen in those days, in front of a blue screen. But this was absolutely awesome. So I'm super glad that he kind of took on that role, and I probably could believe that Robert Downey Jr. did persuade him to kind of do this there as well, because I guess at that point he was looking for redemption as well, right?
Mm. Yeah.
So he was looking for to kind of resurrect his career kind of thing, because you gotta get a few bangers in before and then do your side projects.
People
and stuff
forget
like that.
If you're young, people forget Downey's career was done. Like he pretty much burned all his bridges. He had, I think, Tropic Thunder, whatever was around that time that Iron Man came out. That was one of the high points where things were starting to get a little better, but that was it. Like, people didn't trust him. He was a drug addict. He kept going to prison and all this stuff, but he was perfect Tony Stark.
Yeah, I mean, all I remember when I was a kid is him just going continuously in court. So Robert Downey Jr. is in court again. I couldn't even remember who this actor was. It was like, he starred in Chaplin or something, and it's like at that point he only had like one film, but he was continuously in court, and that was what he was known as. And then when he appears in this, it was like, so yeah, I'm super glad that he kind of took that mission on. He talks a little bit about the Fantastic Four there as well, and how like he believes that was kind of the thing that propelled the other stuff to go forwards. I think he's wrong, but I think that's the Nolan Batman stuff as really held everything back. But yeah, it's always fascinating to listen to when these people have their own thought process behind this stuff, man, because he can retrospect it now, because I don't think he's coming back anytime soon, man. How old is Chris Evans anyway? How old is Chris Evans?
I don't know. I think he's
I'm going to Google it now.
38, 37 maybe.
Let me just have a quick look. I know this is fantastic podcasting. But yeah, the reason He's 38. Okay, so he's 38, right? The reason why I'm saying that is because, people are continuously talking about Henry Cavill, right?
Yeah.
And Henry Cavill coming back. Henry Cavill's 37.
Yeah, he's pushing it. His hairline's slowly going back, but still in great shape. But yeah, when you think of the future of what the DCU wants to be for the next decade, what are you gonna do? Like, I don't know. How long is he gonna be there?
Yeah, and it's difficult to say, like, oh, let's just keep Cavill going on forever, right?
Mm.
Because like I said, in all these things, like when you're looking at Man of Steel 2 or even Man of Steel 3, you're looking at number 2. That is like the GOAT level, right? That's like that's the top level of the character, right? So for example, in the Dark Knight was literally the
Yeah,
GOAT level Batman, right?
yeah,
And then he's past it in number 3.
yeah.
In this one, you'd expect him to be like the GOAT level, but he's kind of like already getting to, okay, I'm 40 odd kind of thing level, rather than being in his, early 30s, which is where he should be kind of there.
Yeah. The problem is they keep taking so long for the next step. These steps just take so long with the DC films.
Yeah. And we'll be talking about that actually, because goodness me, there is a lot of crap that is coming out about that mission, man. But before we do that, have you been seeing all the stuff coming out about the Ayer cut?
Yeah, it kind of seems like it could be a thing. I'm hearing it. It seems to be like discussions are going on.
Yeah, I
Serious
mean,
talks at
this is
Warner
the thing.
Bros.
The AT&T Twitter handle is having the most fun he's ever had in his life, right? Because it's kind of like, David Ayer's like going, tweeting at AT&T going, yeah, I'm ready when you are to do my cut. And they're like, yeah, anything can happen. Basically what it is, they're building as much hype as possible for Zack Snyder's Justice League. The more people watch that, the more likely you are to get an Ayer cut. If you want an Ayer cut, you need to watch that. You need to subscribe to HBO Max and
But
stuff, man.
even from what I'm hearing, it's like discussions are actively going on at Warner Bros. Nothing's confirmed yet, obviously, but it seems like it could get a go ahead even before we get the Justice League.
Yeah, I mean, this is like, I don't know what's going on there, but maybe there was this thing on this forum that I was looking at, and they were saying like, when you're looking at these companies going forward, right? And it's like, okay, there's potentially they've had a lot of their stuff wiped out from coronavirus, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get. We always talk about the general public, right? So you're gonna get movie fans, crazy movie people going in on day one to these films. That's always gonna happen, right? But you're going to have a big percentage of people going to be like, I don't want to go in these crowds. I don't want to go into the cinema. I'm going to stay away from it. I'll wait until it comes on, whatever. And that is definitely going to affect the box office going forwards. So they're probably thinking, okay, well, instead of spending 150, 200 million, let's drop 50, 60 mil on this. It's still a lot of money, right? But, then we can drive a lot more people to our service, and then do it that way.
And Ayer saying that his Ayer cut it will cost way less than what Justice League is going to cost. So they reckon some guy was saying it's going to be a bit more than the 30-40 million that Snyder was saying for Justice League.
Yeah.
But with Ayer, if it's only like 10-20, then why not?
Yeah, because Ayer's cut was a very different situation. His one was he made the cut, and then they got two editing companies, right, who basically edit trailers to edit the film, right? And then they edited it and chopped it to crap and then changed it and all this kind of stuff. But the question is then,
what's the ad? Would it be like Steppenwolf? Would they have to put him back in it?
Change all of those
Motherbox
blob geezers to
that could cost quite a bit.
That could cost quite a bit. Change the motherbots controlling Enchantress. all of that situation, but mainly I guess the Joker stuff. Now, if you see in there, back in the day when I used to have a YouTube channel, I made quite a long video about why Suicide Squad was cut to shreds, right? And there was a lot of people talking on forums saying, "Oh, the reason why Suicide Squad was cut was because it was too dark, and because of this and that." And my kind of thing was this, right? There is basically a certain type of stuff that you could show on in comic books and animated that people feel very uncomfortable if you see it in live action. Okay. And most things you can show in live action, but one of the things that people get very uncomfortable with is domestic violence, right?
Abuse. Yes.
Yeah, they get very uncomfortable, especially the fact that what they've done is they've created the situation where Harley Quinn has for some reason become this like role model that everybody wants to be like, and everybody's like, favorite character and stuff. If as we suspect, the Ayer cut is the same way that the Joker's always treated Harley, like piece of rubbish and slapping her around.
Yeah,
and,
I remember
all this kind of stuff.
I remember the on-set photos. There was a shot of the Joker slapping Harley to the ground. I remember that.
Yeah. There's another one with his hand near her neck, and the idea was he was like pinning her up against a thingy. And I can totally understand if I'm a studio exec and I see that, I'll be like, oh no.
Yeah. But
right,
he was saying that it was also bad reviews for BVS. And then Deadpool came out, and it was like, oh, snip, snip, snip. We can make it a little more fun and colorful. And Deadpool, like,
yeah, and that's kind of what they wanted. But the thing is, Deadpool started from scratch. You know what I mean? You have to start from scratch with the script and
can't backwards engineer. But he also said on Twitter that his first initial teaser trailer for Suicide Squad was closer to what he wanted. It was going to be like. So I actually went back and watched that first teaser, and it really does seem very different from the movie we got. The tone is so much more mature.
So that was the I started a joke mission, wasn't it? It was really like so it's like that first Justice League trailer as well, right? You can see that it's kind of they had that idea, and then afterwards they were just like scrap it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe that will come at some point, man. So we were talking about this before. Henry Cavill, right? Now coming off the back of Justice League and also the Ayer cut, we've now got this stuff about Henry Cavill, right? Potentially Henry Cavill coming back. Rumors that J.J. Abrams is going to be doing the Superman Man of Steel 2, as it were, and different ways that he could potentially be coming back. Some people say the rumors are that he's just going to be appearing as cameos in different things.
Yeah,
other people,
the equivalent to Samuel L. Jackson in the Marvels, where he's just kind of
Nick
popping
Fury,
up.
And I think. Yeah, but why get one of your flagship characters doing that, and then by the time you actually want to make a movie, then it's like he's way too old to do it. So I would suspect that they would look at some sort of Man of Steel 2 rather than doing something like that, rather than him turning up in Shazam and Black Adam. In fact, I don't want him to turn up in Black Adam because it's The Rock. And
the Rock's going to disrespect Superman. They're going to come off as equals, and no.
You get like, if you the big problem with that is basically, as we've seen from what happened with Picard, right? If you let an actor have too much say over what's going on, you just end up with their own vision of what they think is cool.
Bloodshot.
Bloodshot. So it's just I'd much rather he comes in his own thing. And I guess if they're saying J.J. Abrams is doing it, but J.J. Abrams actually did an interview, a couple of days ago as well, where he was talking about the fact that he pitched J.L. Dark himself, right? And basically he came and pitched J.L. Dark, and he loves the comic books, and he's really into it, and he's the one who pitched it to the head. of HBO Max, in order to get it on there. So if he's doing that, is he going to have time to do a Man of Steel 2 on top of that there as well? It's a difficult one. You know what I mean? I think the thing with a lot of these actors, right? Especially something like Henry Cavill, we kind of think, okay, he's doing The Witcher, he's done Man of Steel, he's done this, he's done that, he's done Mission Impossible. He's doing all right for himself. He's perfectly fine. But one thing we forget is a lot of actors they're not like Morgan Freeman and Tom Cruise and all these kind of they don't have like long careers, right?
No.
If he's gonna be playing this action dude, he's got 5-10 years left until he turns up in Expendables 7 or something like that.
Yeah.
When you know what I mean. And then it's like, okay, like a footballer, he's kind of thinking, I got to maximize the amount of money that I'm making like now. And that's obviously what he's trying to do. He's probably negotiating, saying, give me loads of money, and they're saying, nah, mate. So that is
give him what he wants, Warner Brothers, at least 4 or 5 years, and then you can do your Flashpoint thing and then reboot the whole thing.
Well, as long as they do Flashpoint and not have Ezra in it, then that'll be
Still no word on that though. Warner Brothers has worried me because they've made no attempt to make any statement or any decision on Ezra Miller or what's her face from Aquaman, Mira.
Amber Heard, yeah.
They're just kind of hoping everyone just forget about it and just carry on business as usual.
Yeah, they're like, okay, you carry on, you go and do your riots, and then forget about the fact that Amber Heard beat up Johnny Depp, right?
Exactly.
Basically. So you know what I mean?
So shady.
It's just proper dodgy, man. So
what are they scared of? Like, what sense does it make for them to just say they're gone? We don't stand by what they stand for. We're gonna get someone. Like, what's wrong with that? Everyone wants that. So you're the DC guy. Explain to me what it doesn't make sense.
I don't know. I mean, the main decision with something like this is obviously based on them looking at it and saying, okay, well, this is a civil case, like with Amber Heard and Johnny Depp. It's no longer a criminal case anymore. And what happened with Ezra Miller, she hasn't made a complaint about it or anything, so it's just they're just forgetting about it. So it's just one of those things. And also, what they do is, what is that guy? I'm going to go back to wrestling now again, because I always like to go back to. I always have anecdotes based on wrestling, but there's a guy, The Rock's cousin. What is his name? What is The Rock's cousin's name?
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns, right? So Roman Reigns, they basically had him there, and they kept trying to push him, and
make him the hero.
Never worked. It's just like that. It's just like, come on, like this guy, like this. It's like Ezra Miller, like him, like this guy.
True. It's very true.
It's like, they're just like pushing him. He's in Harry Potter. He's amazing. Love him. He's like, oh, he's the Flash. Love him. It's like, why? I don't know. I don't know why, but it's kind of like, I guess with the, with that wrestler mentality, they just want to push it, man. So, let's go back to a kind of Marvel.
Well, one last question though. Are you worried about how a lot of the DC guys are aging out because they're all kind of getting up there? Because there's no Batman now, so I guess you can't really talk about Affleck technically. But Momoa's kind of getting up there a bit. He's kind of pushing 40 now, if he's not already past 40.
Aquaman, I'm not worried about because Aquaman was always in the comic books, fairly old looking because he had a massive...
How long can he go shirtless though? Once the hormone level starts to drop, how long can he look good like that? Till it all starts to hang.
That's true. He just needs to do two more films, right? And then he's done. You know what I mean? So Wonder with Woman. Him, I can kind of guess. Yeah, that's the worrying one because you can, you kind of see like, okay, after a while, things are going to go south, you know what I mean? Yeah. So that's the issue. But then, you got makeup and all that kind of stuff there. And then Ezra Miller is the one I think who's the problem because he's the flavor of the moment. but is he going to be the flavor of the moment in 5-10 years time or whatever?
Is he the
I
flavor of
don't
the
know.
moment? Because all he's got is the Potter Fantastic Beast thing. Like he's
Yeah.
not really got any other big thing going. So yeah.
Well, this is the thing, but it's kind of like if you ever go and see like a Harry Potter forum or anything like that, or Harry Potter fans, man, they're just like so loyal to that brand, you know what I mean, and so loyal to Harry Potterness that he could do anything and they'll just still they still love him. So the main thing I'm looking at there is there's no franchise star to push it, right? So if you're looking at Marvel, you've got the obviously at the time Robert Downey Jr. had problems, but then he became like, okay, I'm the big man in this, right? And I'm the charisma and the guy who's going to push this whole thing forwards, right? When I look at DC, I kind of look, okay, who's the one with the charisma and the all that kind of stuff to push it? And I guess Momoa is the only one that I can kind of think. But then he's playing Aquaman. It's like Aquaman should never be the be all and end all kind of thing, man.
You don't see
So
what's the face having that ability either. Wonder Woman.
yeah, possibly. I mean, I'd have to see obviously what the acting is like in the next one.
But the thing is, that's
Because
the problem. She isn't a great actress, and I don't know. I don't really get the sense, even when she talks, that she's in this to be for the bigger universe of it. I just get the sense that she likes doing Wonder Woman, and that's kind of it.
And likes being part of the just an actor in effect. So just kind of just like wants to be an actor, wants to be in Hollywood, just likes the whole idea of being in it, and that's kind of it. So, and that is the thing that is a little bit worrying. But then they need to look into other kind of actors to push this thing forwards, man. So we'll have to see what they do with Green Lantern, I guess, and see that kind of thing. Because that is a way of pushing it forwards, man. So let's go back to it's kind of Marvel, I guess. Fox. So Simon Kinberg has raised his head. Simon,
delusional fool. Who's
the guy who is running Discovery and all that at the moment, Star Trek? I always get him confused with Kinberg.
Simon Fuller.
No, he's I don't know, but I always get him confused with Kinberg.
Yeah, it's the guy that did I forget. I'm blanking on his name.
It's going to do my head in now unless I actually find it. But anyway, he basically was talking about his cut, right? Because obviously that's the big thing now, yeah. To talk about your Alex Kurtzman, that's his name. He's talking about how he's got this cut and basically like he actually wanted 2 films, so he basically had 5 hours of play in this, right? Which is bizarre because when I saw that film, I was thinking, how could they even stretch this to 5 hours? It makes no freaking sense how they stretch this to 5 hours. Having a character that nobody really kind of was endeared to before, nobody was really endeared to.
Who let this happen? Who let that? You got a 5-hour film. That means you've got a massive 500, 600 page script. Like, it's too long. It. This isn't gonna. And they're only gonna have 1 film. It was already in the works that Fox was in trouble anyway, close to that point. So it's like, why would you go ahead with that? What? I never understood that. Even with Snyder, when he had his massive cut, it's like, why would you? You're not gonna get to release this. So why are you filming all this? I'm happy now that he did because we got this whole Snyder cut. But for Fuller,
I totally understand. Totally understand, man. That how when Kinberg basically, I mean, he's saying right that he's pulling everything out of the air now. He's like, we had a thing with Famke Janssen, and she was going to come back as Dark Phoenix, and had a part with her where it would have like finished off her story and all this kind of stuff. And it's just like, mate, basically the thing that you produced was so horrendously awful.
Yeah, it's
Um,
bad. It's so
the,
bad.
the X-Men universe is so difficult to follow. It's so convoluted in its like timeline and everything that a lot of it kind of made very little sense. It was so when that came out, I think they should have stopped it at Apocalypse, because Apocalypse is awful.
Yeah.
And then when this thing came out, it was like, wow. When you've got Hans Zimmer score and it can't save it, then it's absolutely
Wasted.
atrocious, absolutely atrocious. Yeah. So he's talking about his cut and how like he was, he had like 4 or 5 hours ready, how it was difficult for him to cut the thing down, and that they did film other footage, but then it ended up getting, cut into bits, and they changed the ending around and all this kind of stuff there as well. But yeah, there's zero appetite for that,
Nah,
dude. No,
nah,
nobody wants to
nah.
see that. No, can you imagine going to what's his name, Bob Iger, and saying, "Mate, do you mind putting in another 100 mil, yeah, for
Yeah.
the
No,
kid?"
what's really ridiculous is I heard him say that he's optimistic that he can maybe come back and do more X-Men film and reboot it again. No, stay away. No.
He's had 2 chances at this story, and both chances he's totally screwed up.
Yeah.
He's totally screwed up. I mean, do you know what? You're thinking about like, I don't know whether you did this when you were a kid, but me and my mates, right? We used to basically, when these films used to come out, we used to go and like write down like, oh yeah, this guy could be playing, this hero, and this person could be playing this person, and blah blah blah. Because we didn't have like internet and all those kind of things. It was all kind of like, you'd have Empire magazine. Right,
Yeah.
so you'd open Empire magazine and be like, "Oh, this guy's playing this person or whatever." Who goes through every actor in the world, right? And it's like, Vinnie Jones. That's the guy who needs to play Juggernaut. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, that was bad. That was bad. I
So
forgot about this. Oh my god.
you remember his 8-pack? He had an 8-pack, but it was like literally just like I don't know what it was. It's like
But
it was like a weirdest kind of.
Hollywood was in that at that point in time. Hollywood had a weird love affair. Like they were just fascinated by Vinnie Jones. Like for us, he's just that ex-football player that can't
Yeah.
act. But for some reason, Americans they just seem to love his. I don't know, whatever it was.
Yeah. Did you have you ever heard any interviews with Vinnie Jones? When he's talking about his Hollywood career, he was, this is ages ago, but he was talking about his Hollywood career in an interview and stuff, right? And his first role that he had in the US, he was offered for 750 grand, right? Basically off the back of, so he earned like, I think it's like 100K from Lock Stock. And the first Hollywood film he did was 750 grand, and it was for that Nicolas Cage, the film with him and Jolie and the cars.
Gone in 60 seconds.
Gone in 60 seconds, yeah. And he didn't even say a line. He goes, I had one line like at the end of the film, and he got paid 750 grand for like just standing around literally for the whole film. Absolutely crazy insane, man. If you get the right what's it called, the right agent, you're absolutely laughing, really, aren't you? So so let's keep with Marvel, and another guy who has destroyed his career, and I don't know why would you do this, right? Just the mind just boggles. Rob Liefeld, there is no way that he's going to be kept on by.
This is just the pattern with Liefeld, though, man. This is like everyone knew that Liefeld is what he is when he got kicked out of Image Comics. He's one of the founders of it, and he just got booted because he's just the headache. The guy just can't shut up. He's just got mental ideas. He's not that great an artist, let's be honest. Yeah, I'm not surprised.
The thing is, okay, so you want your character to be in a third film. You want the bosses to make it for you. you want to negotiate with them and say, yeah, you know what, I've got this wicked idea. Let's work on it. Let's kind of, try and work around it. I know it's got to go in your PG-13, whatever, but let's work around this kind of thing. And you make it happen, right? With him, he's like, okay, well, I'm not only going to cuss them, but I'm also going to put up a picture of Deadpool holding Mickey Mouse's head, like literally severed head like this, and walking around with it. Now, once you've done that, mate, you've destroyed any likelihood of of you getting your stuff done. And the thing is this, man, I kind of look at it and I think, if I'd created a character, say I created, I don't know, Uz the Giant or something like that, right? It's basically like a giant character, right? And it was like it already had like a couple of films there or whatever. I'd be like, okay, even if it was Disney, and I don't really like Disney, but it was kind of like if Disney were gonna potentially produce my film, I'd be like, you know what? Let's work on it. Let's make it. I'd just be like so proud of having my character just on the screen. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And all of this behavior, it also kind of probably puts a bad taste in Feige's mouth that he's not in a big hurry to make a Deadpool, because it's like, just a headache because of all the crap that Liefield does. It just kind of pushes it to the back of the line behind whatever else they do.
Yeah, I mean, you think about the other stuff that he could have in, and he could have directors, writers, and actors that he can control. So why does he have to worry about somebody who he can't control, who's a bit of a mess? So yeah, I don't think we're going to be seeing much of Rob in the future, man. So couple more bits we've got here, some DC stuff, man. HBO Max, the guy who is the chief chief executive officer of HBO Max, has been talking about Green Lantern. Right now, before we oh god, before we talked about Green Lantern, and we're like, it gives you with one sentence, but then it takes away with another, right? Okay, so basically, so we're like, yeah, the Green Lantern is coming with Greg Berlanti. So with this, he's like, yeah. He goes, Green Lantern is going to be a huge step up in terms of our cinematic presence, in terms of the stuff that we're making on our HBO shows, in terms of our cinematography, in terms of our CGI, all of this kind of stuff. Yeah. So you think, okay, that's fine. He's comparing it to Watchmen and stuff like that, and then he goes, in comparison to the CW shows.
That doesn't say much. Well, we have actually mentioned Stargirl. Have you still been watching Stargirl?
No, I only watched the first one. I watched the first one, and I haven't gone any further than that, because I don't know, man. I've got to this kind of stage where I'm just like, I don't have time to wait every week for this stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna wait till the end.
Yeah, you want the big bulk of it. I have been watching it. I haven't seen the third episode yet, but I've seen the first two. I get what you were saying. It's pretty good for what it is. It's very I was a big fan of Buffy, big fan of Buffy, but it's missing what Buffy had. Now I'm going to mention someone's name, he who shall not be named in the world of DC, but Joss Whedon was perfect for Buffy because he had a distinctive voice. He gave Buffy personality, all the characters. And that's what's kind of missing in Stargirl. It kind of seems middle of the road. Like, it's good. Production values are nice. It's pretty good for what it is. But it kind of is missing personality, that little spark to make it more interesting than just being like it's very Disney-esque, even though it's Warner Brothers. There's that Disney vibe. That's what it's kind of going for.
There's the X factor missing, isn't there? It's kind of like that thing that keeps you thinking, wow, this is going to stand the test of time.
Yeah.
This is not something that in 10, 15 years time, people are going to be like, should we go and watch Stargirl? Exactly. You know what I mean? It's going to be
like with cooking. You can just have regular salt and pepper for seasoning, or you can sprinkle on a little masalas there, get a little spice going. And that's what Buffy had. It had a little bit of little spice. That's what Joss Whedon gave it. This doesn't have that. It's just very fine. It tastes okay, but it's just a little bland at the moment.
Yeah, it's kind of it's safe, really, isn't it? It's just
Yeah.
it's totally safe. So, something like that, I kind of just think, do I really want to watch it? I can't be bothered. I can't be bothered. To be honest, I'd rather see something where people are taking a risk on something, even if it doesn't
Yeah.
quite land. If they take a risk on something, then you think, oh, okay, they've done something different here. And if it doesn't quite
Problem
work,
is when they do the risk, it sometimes that the risk doesn't pay off. Like, I'm always gonna keep on saying it. Deadly Class was a show I loved, but it got shut down. Sci-fi, being the cheap bosses that they are, just yeah.
yeah, and that's the thing. You need the monetary response to it there as well,
Yeah.
and I guess it is Jeff John's baby because he's kind of like, that's my sister, and it's kind of like the story of his that he wanted for his sister and stuff like that. So yeah, it's all right. It does what it does, but
Yeah.
so that's obviously the thing with the Green Lantern is that they're saying that it's going to be a cinematic step up and a cinematography step up, and et cetera, et cetera. But compared to the CW shows, which to me are like the absolute rock bottom of stuff. I remember when I used to, we used to watch kind of programs like this. I used to watch trash when I was a kid, like literal like trash,
Yeah.
like stuff like
What's
one of
Dawson's
my
Creek?
one of my favorite shows was a Beauty and the Beast show, right? With Linda
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes. I love that. Actually, I love it. Did I really love it, or did I just watch it because there was nothing else really to watch back then?
That's exactly that's exactly what
I
it
think that's probably what it was. Yeah.
I used to watch it like all the time, like whenever it was on. I used to think that was amazing, like just well, I didn't think it was amazing, it was just there. But it's one of those things, like it's it was something different at the time, and
Yeah.
this, unfortunately, like all the CW stuff is very samey. It's very, very similar to everything
Do we
else,
know
man.
who the
So
showrunner is going to be for the Green Lantern?
yeah, Greg Berlanti.
He's the main showrunner, or is he
Yeah.
just an executive producer?
I'm no the well, you've got Jeff Johns and Greg Berlanti basically who are producing.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, like Jeff Johns, man. I mean, some of the greatest Green Lantern books, well, the greatest Green Lantern books ever made, in my opinion, right?
Yeah.
He's got that chance. I don't know if he can do it, he can do it, but he needs to show the stuff that he was showing in the books
Yeah.
in reality, and that's another thing, man. So let's go on to our final story, which is once again DC, because I don't know, Marvel's in the bunker in the White House somewhere right now, while there's rioting going on outside. There's rumors now that after the Black Adam, the next film that is going to be greenlit is JSA, and they're going to kind of link it to Stargirl and also to Green Lantern with Alan Scott, etc., and kind of do it from that way. Now, the in a way, I actually like this idea. I would much rather have the Justice League. However, if they do something like this and they do it and they make it so the JSA are occurring in an older time, in an older time frame, and it was kind of like it was based on the fact that they were in this older time frame, then I think that could be interesting. So we've had modern day superheroes, like till
Yeah.
that in every single thing that we've seen, but have we seen them in a historical aspect?
I think you're being too optimistic here. I think as far back as they'll go is from what we saw in the pilot episode of Stargirl, where we saw that version of that was the JSA, wasn't it?
That's the JSA.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
probably see that version with the dude from Community as their head Starman, and that will be what we get for TV.
Yeah. Which is what was that time frame? That's like the 60s, I think, 60s or
No,
70s,
that
isn't
was
it? So
like no, that's not even that. That was the eight. That was like the 90s. Because that guy,
wow,
she thinks he's her dad, isn't it? So that would be around about the 90s, late 90s.
wow. Well, that's burst my bubble, then,
Yeah, there
basically,
you
hasn't
go.
it? Hasn't it? So yeah. Every time I try and get optimistic,
God.
it
Do
just
you
gets
want to
done,
explain
man.
though for Marvel heads that aren't familiar with the difference between JSA and Justice League proper?
Well, the JSA are kind of like they're like a precursor. So you have very similar heroes.
Mm.
So you've got a Green Lantern, you've got a Flash, but the Jay Garrick Flash. You've got Hourman. They're kind of similar, and they're kind of like a precursor to it. So in the ones that they've done in the CW, which is what I guess they're probably going to end up following, they exist in a completely different dimension, kind of thing, completely different form of Earth, and I guess potentially that's the way that they're going to do it.
Mm.
But yeah, it's you know what I was talking before when we had this conversation about Batwoman, and I was like, they keep skirting around Batman, and they
Yeah,
don't want to put Batman in it.
yeah.
This to me is a little bit like that. It's kind of like we're skirting around having the actual
Trinity.
the actual Justice League in there, and we're going to instead have um you know a kind of precursor there to it. So I mean, Jay Garrick is cool and all, and we've we've got Alan Scott, who's a decent enough, you know, uh, Green Lantern, the first Green Lantern, but do people care as much as I'd rather see Hal Jordan and Barry Allen?
Yeah.
So um, so yeah, but that's the thing. Like we've got a situation right now where the name of the Justice League is tainted, and that is a huge problem. So at that point, what do you do? Do you persist with it, or do you junk it and go on to something else?
If you
Um,
were Warner Brothers and you've greenlit the Snyder Cut, would you still be pushing regular Justice League out there to for people to watch, or would you kind of pull that back, stick it in the vault for a year to
um,
help build anticipation for the Snyder Cut? Because I'm seeing now, because remember, you have to think of regular people that don't really understand the differences of what the Snyder Cut is. I'm
mhm,
suddenly
mhm,
seeing this past week or so that Justice League is suddenly shot up on the Netflix
mhm.
charts, people suddenly wanting to watch it. And I wouldn't be surprised. That's just regular people seeing this stuff written and they don't know the difference. So they think, oh, is this what everyone's talking about? This new version of Justice League? And
Yeah,
they're,
yeah, yeah. I don't know, because to them, we're thinking about us as
yeah,
fans, right? We're
exactly.
thinking about us as fans. We're not thinking about executives. Executives are just thinking, oh, they're downloading Justice League.
Yeah,
Fine, we're making money off that now,
yeah.
right? And that's all they care about. That's why you have all of these. You've probably seen them when the films come out. So you'd have like the Suicide Squad came out, for example, and there was there was another film that came out called The Squad of Suicide,
Oh,
right?
that studio that does all of the
Yeah, yeah,
the flippy
right.
floppy ones.
Yeah, and there was a film called Battleship, right, that came out, and they made a film at the same time called Operation Battleship, right? It had
Yeah,
the same, like,
yeah, those
you know,
guys.
they so they're capitalizing off that, and the main studios are probably the same thing. They're probably like, yeah, we want we want them to keep
Yeah,
buying this kind of thing. From I totally agree with you from that point of view. From a creative point of view, I would just say forget it. This is, if you've got it, then you've got it, right? But to build anticipation for this next one that is coming out, here we go, it's kind of coming out. It was, I mean, Disney used to do that with amazing
Yeah,
skill back in the day. Back in the day, they used to only have like, you could only say, if you wanted Beauty and the Beast, you had a 4-month window to buy it, and then it wasn't coming out for 4 years or whatever.
yeah,
Or you wanted, and they released this stuff on tape or Blu-ray or whatever, on DVD or whatever. And if you missed it, you're stuffed.
yeah.
You can't buy it again,
And those
right?
things were worth, like, in the age when DVDs and even Blu-rays aren't really worth much anymore. Certain Disney releases are worth money. People trade those because you couldn't get them.
Yeah, yeah, and if you had a mate who was like, yeah, I can get Aladdin, or I can get Jungle Book or something like that, for like a family gathering and stuff, and it'll be like, what? How? You can't buy it anywhere.
It's the thing.
Um,
Even with the Disney Plus, there's still stuff they haven't put on there. Stuff they have restraint. I guess that's the word. They know when to hold
that's
back.
that's the thing. You shouldn't like blow your load like straight away. You should actually just basically put stuff there, build anticipation there for it, and that is one of those things. But there's a difference when you're on top and you can kind of like do that, to when you're running scared, because at the moment Warner Brothers are running scared.
Yeah.
They're scared of the fans, they're scared of bloggers, they're scared of critics, and they don't have the luxury of doing anything. So that's basically what they're doing, man. So yeah, so shall we go into some of our listeners questions here?
Yeah.
So I'm going to first go into this. Let me go out of this one. So guys, we did have some we've been having quite a few messages kind of on our we forgot to talk about this anyway. Let me give the background of this before I put this on. So I don't know if you guys we don't have a Twitter at DC versus Marvel podcast. We used to have one, but I ended up getting into a lot of silly arguments and stuff, and I just thought, forget it. It's just not even worth it. Yeah. So we got rid of it, but it's interesting because obviously a lot of these directors and stars and all that kind of stuff use it. And there was an interesting kind of conversation between Kathy Yan, who is the director of Birds of Prey, and Grace Randolph, who is a blogger who says that she knows many exclusives and knows many people in the industry and all this kind of stuff. And there was basically like what Grace Randolph said back in the day, if you guys don't know. And I think we covered this on the show and like just laughed at it, which was the fact that there was going to be Black Mask was basically chasing after Harley Quinn because there was like dick pics in a diamond or something like that.
Yeah.
And that was like the thing, and it was basically like there were these pictures, and he was chasing after, and he didn't want it being released, and he was flamboyantly gay, and basically like that's why he was after Harley Quinn, etc. And that was a storyline there of it. So Grace repeated this again, saying like, okay, this about the pics and all this kind of stuff, and this is the reason why Birds of Prey ended up getting cut a lot, because there's rumors that also the Bird of Prey cut is not the proper cut, right? But Kathy Yan. But Kathy Yan, the director, actually came back and said basically laid into her big time, saying like, you're talking rubbish, you have no idea what you're talking about, it's garbage basically, and you should like check your sources before you're saying so. Luckily there is no Kathy Yan cut of the
For once, we got one director, at least one, that says, yeah, my film is my film, there's no other version of it, I'm sticking with it.
Yeah, so let's have a look at. I'm just going to share the screen here a second. Let's have a look at what some people have been saying on our Facebook page about that. Right. So, Craig says, "Well, she's only as good as her sources, which in the year or so I've been watching her channel are usually on the money. Obviously, not every time. Do you ever see Grace Randolph stuff?"
I always see the thumbnails, but I don't often click on YouTube. I don't really like it that
I
much.
find her voice is very like screechy. It's
Grating,
like
yeah.
it's like it's like grating. So I literally can't listen to more than like 30 seconds of it. But from what I've seen, her sources are usually not right. So I don't know where this guy gets this from, but okay, that's fine. An interesting comment down here, which I know you'll like. I like the movie, but Kathy Yan did Cassandra dirty, right?
Yeah,
You, you gotta agree with
completely
that if you
pointless.
ever did see, because the actual Cassandra Cain was. I don't know why people don't pull her up on Cassandra Cain, man.
Yeah.
Why? That's what I'd do. I'd forget about if actually people did care, because nobody would care if I commented to to Kathy Yan. But if she did actually listen, that is the first thing that I'd be pulling her up on. I'd be like, look, yeah, why the hell did you choose this version? Of Cassandra Cain, because it's absolutely horrendous.
What was the point? Just
Um,
give her any random name. Like you've just wasted a character that could have been interesting.
yeah, like Jonathan or something like that. Just something. So let's go to this other bit that we placed on here as well, which is there is rumors that they were going to get rid of the Supergirl film and replace it with Superman. So we kind of had some comments there on our page about this there as well. So let's just go through a couple of these. Paolo says, I always suspect that they will do a Superman Batman Apocalypse adaptation and then introduce Supergirl, the Furies, and Darkseid, then do the Supergirl solo movie. You've already bursted my bubble enough, Ed. So do you want to burst this guy's bubble first before
I don't have the
why?
heart, man, but I think overly optimistic. I can't see that. That's what the movie would be if a fan made it, but there are no fans making DC films, to be honest.
That is true. That is true. And also, this just reminds me of something else that I put on here. I know we're very random with these comments here because this is the thing. Like, you guys don't send us emails; you just put comments on our Facebook page. Do you know what we forgot to talk about today?
So,
The Batmobile, right?
oh, the models. Yes, you
Yes.
posted these up on Insta as well.
On the Instagram, yeah. So what did you think of this? This guy John Black clearly doesn't like it.
So
Um,
yeah,
um,
I guess like if instead of Batman standing next to the car, it was Vin Diesel, then it would be a cool car. It'd be like, okay, that's a new little. Dominic Toretto's got a new car for the next Fast and Furious movie. Cool, but for a Batman, but I guess we don't technically know what sort of Batman we're getting. But from all the news I'm hearing, I'm getting less and less excited for this.
mm.
Less and less, because if it's like a year one thing, then I can go along with it. But this
Are
whole
we
thing
gonna
of
get?
him being too lazy to get in shape, and this not being action based, I'm just getting less and less into this.
And actually, this one of our listeners even said that he still needs to get in the weight room.
Yeah, you know.
Anyway,
But
it's
muscle
true.
car maybe feels like the car does all the heavy lifting. Get it?
Are we gonna get a montage of him building building this Batmobile? Because this is gonna be like an A-team. I'm just thinking there's gonna be an A-team montage of him building this thing. Because it kind of lends itself to doing that. You know what I mean? But yeah, I don't know. We gotta wait for a trailer for that to actually say anything about
We
it.
still
Right
don't know
now,
who the main antagonist is. We know that there's the Penguin's in it, but we hear that he's barely in it, and the Riddler's in it, but we don't know how much. So we don't just know nothing.
the thing is that it looks very similar to the Year Zero Batman. In which case, if it is the Year Zero Batman, then it is going to
I
be the Riddler.
don't
But
think they're going that way,
then,
man. I don't think they're going for any story that is pre-existing. I think the director's got his own vision, his own type of story, and it's not going to be. I don't want to say this because I know it's going to disappoint you, but I don't think this is going to be the one that scratches that itch in terms of having a Batman, true Batman. It'd be a good film on its own as a film, but as a Batman movie, I don't think.
one day on this cast, you're going to be like, "Us, that DC film was the greatest thing ever."
Finally
And it's
nailed
going to
it.
be like, yes.
Yeah.
I could actually say, like, this is the thing, man. So yeah, do you know, oh my god, do you watch any other sports, or support any other sports rather than, anything
UFC?
like that? Yeah. Do you ever have, like, you've always got that mate who's like, who talks about, their team's always losing at the moment,
Yeah.
but then they talk about, yeah, but in 1984 we won this
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
won like 5 Champions Leagues,
It's
and
basically
and
what you do with the Nolan verse.
Dark
You,
Knight.
you get right into the Nolan stuff and be like, yeah, but when Nolan was doing it, it was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. So we grab onto that, hold it, and just say, when you reach that height, it's, yeah,
Yeah.
you can't change. It's like the Chicago Bulls now; they're always going to be talking about Jordan era rather than
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than what they've got now. You know what I mean?
True.
So, guys, that brings us to the end of the podcast, man. And if you want to contact us, you can contact us on dcvsmarvelpod@gmail.com. You can go to the most active, which is the Facebook page, which is DCVS Marvel Podcast, and also we have an Instagram page, DCVS Marvel Podcast.
Been
Now,
slacking on that to get back to it.
yeah, so Eds will definitely get back to that there as well. If you want to listen or see to the one of the most active podcast guys out there right now, this guy
What's going on? I
who's
don't
on
know.
who's
I don't know what's wrong with me, man. I don't know what's wrong
it's
with
on
me.
like so there's talking at the I looked on the YouTube, so it's talking at the movies, right?
Yep.
There is talking at the movies specials at the moment,
Yep.
and there is Wrestling Ruckus there
Yep.
as well, which is back there, right? And DC vs Marvel podcast.
I didn't think this through. I didn't expect that it would be that way. I don't know. I didn't think it through.
You're turning into the CW. It's going to be 5 days a week.
I am. Oh dear. See, if we were actually had a schedule, we would literally almost have one for every day of the week. It's crazy. But we're like the worst network for getting things out on a particular day. We've got to fix it.
That is true. Yeah, we will at some point, but that's the thing. If we the more popular these shows get, and the more we can treat this as like a job rather than as a hobby, and then we can make sure that we're getting our content there to you guys as regularly as possible. So you can find Eds on all of those shows there as well. Also, check all of our stuff. If you want to see the video stuff there rather than listen to the audio, you can go to the YouTube page there, which is Voltron Network 2. And if you type it in now, it comes straight up. It wasn't before. We were actually behind Voltron for some reason, but now we're actually there. You type in Voltron Network, 2 words, we are there. And yeah, just watch the video, share the video, stuff like that there. I wanted to just show one more thing. If I could just go here before we finish, I just wanted to say, it's nothing that major, but if I just go here to 1 second, I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who has let me see if I can show this. Thank you to everybody who has been going to our Facebook page, because we have just broken 1,000 followers. So yeah, so onwards and upwards there.
Look at Uzi's creation. Star Lord's gun. Look at that. Beautiful.
I know. This is the thing, man. It's bad to say, but the Marvel props are a lot nicer to build than kind of the other stuff. So yeah, there'll be a lot of builds coming up
You
from
should do
those. But
tutorials for how you make these. You should film your different segments of like, because you do the 3D printing as well. A lot of people have no idea how that made. You should do a little thing on that.
I should do. Yeah, I've got maybe because I've got loads of photos. I'll do a narration one first, and then the next one I do, which will not be long, I will actually film the whole process there for you guys. So guys, yeah, take care. Don't go out writing, please. And
stay home, listen to us, read comic books, and get Disney Plus and watch all the Marvel movies. Come on, that's what you need. That's what you need.
yeah, because HBO Max isn't out for a year. So go and do all of that. And until then, guys, we'll see you again next time.
Later.